Sunshine. So I'm out in my studio today just kind of tidying up, getting ready to start the next babies. I have 7 of them. I am absolutely crazy. One is a gift baby, one is a project baby, and then the rest are my regular 5. There's always a sculpt that sneaks its way in there. I was on my doll forum the other day and this subject came up, and it comes up often. It's a big forum, it's the Bountiful Baby Forum. And what usually happens is new artists will come through and they'll be asking that question and people will talk about it again and again. And for me, I understand it the way I understand it. It doesn't mean it's the right way. It's just how it makes sense to me. So I'm going to try my best to talk about it in a way that might make sense to you. I don't know. If somebody has an easier explanation, please leave it in the comments. It's the difference between a medium and a varnish. Before we get going there, let me do an imaginary line down here. Over here we have Genesis heat set paint, and over here we have acrylic water-based paint. In the Reborn world, this is heat set and this is air dry. This paint you can mix with just regular water, and you can paint on with a regular brush and clean up with a regular brush. It's water soluble, and it dries and cures on its own regular room air. Genesis heat set paint is more like an oil-based paint. It is set and cured by baking it, heating it. You can use a heat gun, which I wouldn't recommend on a Reborn because you can melt your Reborn pretty easily. Most of us use a new wave oven. Some people use a convection oven. You should never use your home oven. This, I'm going to say, is more toxic. It does say non-toxic on it. I'm not sure I believe that that's the whole story, especially since we probably aren't using it like it was designed to be used. We're also using it with paint thinner, and these are odorless, but just because you can't smell the bad stuff doesn't mean the bad stuff isn't in your air. So make sure you're working where you can have some ventilation. Never bake your baby in the house, not in an oven you use for food. I know it's crazy and a lot of people don't live in a place where they have room to bake a baby outside, but you can do it in your garage, you can do it on your back patio, you can, in your backyard, under an awning, maybe on your front porch, not in your windows obviously, they're open. But I used to have my new wave outdoors under a patio umbrella, and then it rained and it fried my new wave. So now I have my new wave on the side of my house under the awning where like our bicycles are and stuff. And it's just out there, it gets dusty, it gets dirty every once in a while to clean it up. But it's outside where all the fumes from baking vinyl and baking this on vinyl are not gonna hurt my lungs. A lot of people with health concerns or health issues, or maybe who have had cancer before, it's just too unpredictable. You don't know how that's gonna hurt your lungs or your body. So that's Genesis heat set paint. This is acrylic. Like I said, all water-based, no heat guns, no baking, no anything. Medium versus varnish. These have a medium and varnish. These have a medium varnish. For me, the way I think about it is a medium is something that you use while you're painting. You might mix it with your paint. You might treat your surface with it before you start to paint. It basically, and it works in a lot of different ways. It can give you a nice surface to paint on. It can tone down paint, meaning a lot of paints have a lot of pigment floating in them, and you might want to have less pigment and let it be a little bit more translucent, but you don't want drippy, watery paint. You don't want to, use this or this. So you would use a medium, like a thinning medium, to kind of thin out the paint a little bit, but still have it thick. So the color would be less intense, but the thickness would be the same. I hope that makes sense. And then varnish to me is what you use afterwards to protect your paint. Or let's say you are working on a piece that you worked in different stages with different types of paint. Like let's say you used gouache, acrylic, and oil, and maybe some found objects and some paper. And when it's done, it looks great, but you want it more cohesive. So you might use a varnish to give the whole surface the same sheen. So it would all be really glossy and shiny. It would be all very matte and dull. Another thing you might use varnish for is to deepen color. Now, if you're going to use matte, it's going to soften your color a little bit. And if you use a satin or a gloss, it is going to deepen your color a little bit. It'll make it more vibrant. I think that if you think of one as during and one as after, you'll be fine. Honestly, with Reborns, they're pretty interchangeable. There are even artists who actually use, let me find it, thinning medium to varnish babies. I don't, I haven't. I can't really wrap my head around it, but people have success with it and love it, and so they may just know something that I don't, or understand something that I don't, because, you know, I don't know everything. I want to talk real quick about these three guys here. For heat set, this is thinner. You can use this to clean your brushes, and you can use this to thin down your paint, and you use this to make washes. Think of it as kind of like the water of Genesis heat set paint. It is not water, don't drink it, it's not safe. This is a thinning medium. It's thick, it's gel-like. It's really cool though. Let me tell you, when you mix this with a paint that has a lot of pigment, it gets melty and buttery. It's really yummy. I love what it does. That's gonna, you know, thin down the intensity of your pigment without it becoming runny or wet or drippy. This is thick medium. This is kind of cool. It does the opposite of this, sorta. You mix this with paint and it will take down the color, but it won't give you this kind of yummy buttery thickness. This will be like paste. And the plus to this is, and it's the only reason why I use it at all if I do use it, it gives texture to eyebrows. And you can use it on painted hair too to give texture to the hair. I would mix it with some brown, assuming you're doing brown hair, or maybe a lighter brown if you're doing blonde hair. Just because when the gel dries, you don't want it to look boogery, you don't want it to look like plastic. You kind of want it to look like hair. So I would tint that if you're going to use it. I might be full of it. That's just how I see it. With Genesis, so sorry, I hope I'm not making it more confusing. There are a few different kinds of varnishes you can use after you've painted your baby. This is what I think most people use. It is a heat set permanent matte varnish. You use a lot of it, as you can see. Actually, you don't use a ton, but you use more than you use anything else. And you can put it on clear, or again, you can tint it if you want to. At the end, let's say your baby's still a little too pale. This looks dark, but when it goes on, it is almost transparent. This gives you a very matte finish, no shine at all. Now, when I first started making babies, probably the first 20, 30 babies, I did not varnish them. I had matte varnish inside of my paint. I used it like a medium, and I had it inside my paint, and I thought that's good enough. When I went ahead and varnished a whole baby with this, they felt rough. The texture was not appealing to me. It is appealing to some people. Some people really like that texture. I didn't. And being new, I didn't realize that with a lot of frequent handling and clothing changes and stuff, babies were getting shiny. It's just that rubbing. So I learned from other artists that it might feel sandpapery in the beginning, but that's gonna wear down, and it won't be like that forever. So give your baby a little extra protection and slap this on here, and your customers will be happy, and they were. Now, that wasn't enough for me, because I thought, oh, there must be another solution. So I went ahead and bought Satin Varnish. Lathered that baby up, stuck it in the oven, and went, oh no, this baby looks like he's sweaty or has a fever. It was too shiny for me. So I played and mixed these two together, and it seems to me that Satin Varnish dominates matte varnish. So if you're going to mix the two to give your baby a sort of dewier skin so that they don't look dry, use more matte and less satin. As you can see, I've got tons of one and not very much of another. Just a little satin in your matte varnish goes a long way. Again, I pre-mix it myself. That way I don't have to do it every single time. Bountiful Baby, those wonderful people, have come up with something called Look Alive, and it's kind of done for you. And I use this a whole lot. I have a hard time getting a large container of it, especially now, so I've been making my own. There are other suppliers that sell a version of this. For air dry, this product here seems to be the favorite for Reborn artists. Well, at least the ones that I know. It's called Soft Touch Varnish, and it is made by Americana. I have one jar of it left, and the rumor is that this is going to be discontinued. I cannot say that for certain. I did not call the people and ask them. It just seems that when you go to try to buy it, it's not available anywhere. I don't know if maybe it's a supply issue or if they just weren't selling enough of it. Maybe there just aren't enough Reborn artists to buy it, or they've reformulated it. I noticed that they have a container similar to this that says Soft Touch Varnish for $8. This was like 10 or 12 bucks that you can buy. It has a different color label. This isn't it. I'm just using this bottle for reference. I purchased it. I haven't received it yet, and I'm going to give it a try and find out. They also have a blue label that says like super matte or lots of matte or extra matte or super matty. I don't know. It's like a dark blue label. And some people are happy with that. Some people are not. I don't know what to say. Hope it's not discontinued. Now, Deco Art sells this. It is a medium. I have tried it. It does not work for me for varnishing. I think it's a little bit too shiny for me, but I have it. I don't do air dry. I usually do Genesis. So if you're an air dry painter and you're happy with this, put it in the comments so somebody else will know. And this is their gloss varnish. I use this for lips and toes. I have a couple of other things. I'm just using down this bottle. When it's gone, I'm going to try some other stuff. But what I like about this is that I can put it on lips and toes and touch it with my finger or with a sponge, and it will give me a nice texture. It won't be like super lipstick shiny. And I'm almost out of that. Some people who do air dry have tried Modge Podge for varnishing. I wouldn't do that. I use Modge Podge for gluing down hair inside of a head. I don't know why. When I first started, somebody told me that's the thing to do, and I do it, and I'm happy. This is the matte. And I do use, what else do I use Modge Podge for? Oh, I use it for flanges that don't have rings. This is Americana in a different container because it broke, and I put it in that container, and this one fits better in my shelf. And then I have a Liquitex matte medium that I have used for doing repairs, and in a pinch I've used this or this golden. I like golden better for varnishing a baby if I needed to varnish a baby. This can go over Genesis heat set paint, but I find it beads up a little bit. Same with this gloss. If I've matte varnished a baby and I hit the lips or the toenails and I do this over top, it will bead up. It's like water and oil trying to mix. The last thing I want to show you is MSC. Let me pull off this label. I opened it in a hurry one day. This you have to order online. I get mine on Amazon. It's 25 bucks for this itty bitty can. Has UV protection. It can be used as a primer, it can be used as a sealer, and you spray it on, and it is toxic as hell. You go outside if you're going to use this, put a respirator on if you're going to use this, and it's pretty sensitive to extremes in temperature. So it may or may not cure depending on if you've made it unhappy with a too cold a day, too humid a day, too hot a day. This is used mostly on vinyl and plastic repaints for like Monster High dolls or model cars, that type of thing. It creates a nice surface that will grab paint or grab Prisma pencil or powders. I know somebody who actually primed their Reborn with this and did air dry, and they liked it. Again, super expensive, super toxic. I love it for other things. I have like 6 cans of this and I hoard it. I wouldn't use this on a Reborn doll, but it's an option. So I just wanted to put that out there. That's it. That's your tutorial today on mediums and varnishes. I have a couple of other products coming in, and so what I think I might do down the road once they all come in is I have a belly plate that somebody gifted me that was painted, that they got somehow, and I probably won't use it because I don't want to strip it, but I may cut it up in pieces. I know, doesn't that sound terrible? I may cut it up in pieces and try out all these varnishes and mediums and stuff on that so you guys can get a look at what it looks like up close in person. Maybe it'll save you some money and time. The next thing on my list, seems like it's product day, is this. Bountiful Baby sells this. You know, I just go down to the fabric store and I get a big bag of fluff. I try to get whatever's soft. In the beginning, I was actually using a very thick, stiff poly just because I didn't want it to squish too much. I wanted it to keep its shape. You know how when you use a pillow for too long, it starts to, you know, get wimpy and floppy. And, you know, we want these babies floppy, but you don't want it to look like a 40-year-old teddy bear in a week. So I thought I'll use the firmer stuff. And then I accidentally bought the squishy stuff once, and I just loved the way it felt. So I usually get the squishy stuff. I can get a big box of it, and it'll last me maybe 10 babies, maybe the big box. But I was doing an order with Bountiful Baby, and I said, doggone it, I'm gonna try this fluff. It's like $12, $13 for a box. It's supposed to be 2 pounds. And let's see. Oh my, already I can feel the difference. Wow, that's really awesome. Oh, I knew it was gonna grow if I opened it up. Oh no. That is really nice. So this doesn't look like there's very much in here. I was a little disappointed about how small the box was, but I just realized what they did is they squeezed all the air out of it. And so when you open yours up, be prepared for it to grow. See if it makes a difference. Angel Silk, unbelievably soft polyester. Yeah, Bountiful Baby, good job. Apologize for doing an entire video in a jacket, but it is cold in here, and I do have the heater on. It's super chilly, and I'm much happier when I'm warm and cozy. So I am about to start the 7 babies. If you follow me on Instagram at St. Cloud Nursery, every time I start new babies, I usually shoot a small video or just a still of the babies that are coming up, so people who are waiting will know to keep an eye out for the baby that they've been waiting for. This is Flynn. He's an elf. Look at those ears. Could you die? And this is Daphne, Miss Daphne. Bountiful Baby Reborn. I just got her again. I think they were doing a kit of the day, and I got one. I didn't need another one, but you know, it's hard to resist. And Felicity, another Bountiful Baby Reborn that was just recently released. She is pretty cute. I love the shape of her head. Look at these lips. How can you say no to lips like that? The thing that a lot of people who have already started painting her, they're complaining about these little creases in her eyes and her eyelids. Another baby. Now I'm looking at this, I was worried, and I am not now. Those are just itty bitty little eyelid creases. If you don't go heavy on your eyelid creasing, you should be fine. I think that's gonna be okay. This is Bryson. I don't know what is going on in that family over there in Utah, but they are making some babies with some luscious lips. Look at those. Ooh-wee, I love this baby. I'm going to have so much fun. I would love to do him with darker skin tone. I just got some really sweet hair from Angela Plica. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation of her name. And I want to use it on this baby. So I'm going to give him very curly hair, and I'm going to deepen his skin tones just a little bit. Oh, he's so cute. And I have Joanna, and she's dripping because she has a neck flange full of water still. Now her coloring looks a little off, and that is because This kit came from someone who mailed it to me, who stripped this kit a couple of times. And I said, send that baby over my way. I want to paint that baby. I think she thought this baby was done for. I can even see some of the old hair painting there. I was going to strip it again, but I thought I'd give it a nice wash first and see how it goes and see if I can't work it out. This ear right here, it looks like that's a little bit of acetone damage. It looks like maybe it ate through some of that vinyl. Sometimes if you scrub it with acetone, it'll peel some of the vinyl. But now that she's nice and washed, she doesn't look too awful. I mean, I might even just leave that pink in her ears. It's really pretty. I might go through with maybe Winsor Newton brush cleaner. That stuff's really strong. I hate to use it. And just try to clean up a couple of these areas. She does have texture from being stripped and her vinyl being disrupted, but I think I can work with that. I feel a challenge coming on. I'm excited. I never pass up an opportunity to paint this sculpt. I am making this baby for this person for lots of reasons. And I don't do customs, and this isn't a customs. This is a kit rescue and a challenge, and I kind of wanted to challenge myself, so we'll see what happens. Oldie but goodie in my cupboard. This is one of those ones in the way back. It's Harper. Harper usually has a full torso, and I do have the full torso, but I'm not going to do it. The reason why is because it's a lot more work. I hate putting those bodies together. And what'll happen is everybody wants the look of the full torso, but when they get it, they want the full torso off because they want a squishy baby. When you have a full torso, it's not very cuddly. It's just like a doll that you would get, you know, from a department store. It's very hard. And so I end up having to walk them through taking it apart. They feel anxious about it. And so I think I'm just gonna leave off, oh, I think we just had some lightning. I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna leave off the torso and just make this a cuddly, sweet baby. This baby has a really cute face. So the last baby is Owen Awake. I wanted to do one open-eyed baby, and I think I ended up with two. Yep, Flynn and this baby. I have a kit request list, and if somebody requests a kit, that doesn't sign them up and mean that they have to buy it after I paint it. It just gives me an idea of what people like. I did an alternative with this sculpt with very, very light blue eyes and blonde hair. It was my Sleeping Beauty Reborn. And I keep getting requests for it. And when I was looking in my cupboard, I realized I had two of these, and I might as well paint one. So this baby's going to get painted. I'm not sure if I still have those eyes, but if I do, I'll do it again. It won't be the same baby. I'm not sure how long it's going to take me to do them. I am not in a hurry. As most of you know, the Rose Show has been canceled. I know. I hear all the collective sighs. It's a drag, but you know, I am grateful that they chose to do that. I know everybody was looking forward to it. I know it's the second year that it's been canceled. I have personally been looking so forward to it, but I just don't see this getting better. And I would rather attend a show where everybody's happy to be there and feeling good, and we can gather and hang out with our friends and eat and sit and chat and not have to worry. You know, it'll just make it extra great next year when we can. I suddenly don't feel as stressed out as I did. I was thinking, which babies am I gonna make for Rose? How long will I have to make them? I have to, you know, tweak my display. I have to worry about the travel. Am I gonna bring my son? Am I not gonna bring my son? I don't wanna drive 11 hours. I just had all this kind of weighing down on me. And mostly it felt weird just because I wasn't sure how it was all gonna work out, and we're a little bit burnt out with everything that's been going on. I think next year I'll be more relaxed and it'll be more happy planning. So with all that stress gone, I'm just gonna paint babies, and no timelines, no rush, no worries, just get them done. One of my little buddies on Art Doll Forum is Lynn, and she actually, I just found out, lives in the same state as me, not even that far. For some reason I keep thinking she lives in Australia, and I don't know why she's put up with me all these couple years. I keep referring to how are things in Australia, and she probably thinks I have, like, I don't know, senior moments or I'm addled or something. I just realized, oh my gosh, she lives in the same state as me. So it'll be nice to meet her. She's always been such a kind and supportive friend. I think what I'll do, if you don't mind, is I'm just gonna paint these and film myself, and we can chat and you can just watch the progression. I'm not gonna do a tutorial. I've already done it. I don't have really a whole lot to add, but I think it's kind of fun. I am going to go make some lunch for my little guy, and we'll see you when we start painting.